Welcome in. We are live. Yay. I've got my natural hair situation going on. Wet hair. How's everyone doing? Awesome. Joining in. Okay. We are live. We are live. And we've got a really fun topic for today, I think. We're talking about money mistakes that women make, not only with men, but also in life, in business in general, and in all circumstances. So we're going to dive into that. But before we continue, let's just get everyone in the chat to write in the comments if you're watching this in the replay. When you think of the word money, what affirmation closely describes your relationship with money currently? What affirmation most closely resembles your current relationship with money? In the chat or in the comments, depending on if you're watching live or in the replay. Welcome in, everyone. Money is a tool, okay? Abundance. Great. Yes. The more I spend, the more money comes to me. Love that one. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you. Oh, watching from Kenya. Welcome in, everyone. I can attract abundance. I'm scared to lose it, but I love to spend it. Okay, that was honest. I have multiple streams of income. Yes, I love multiple streams of income. I'm working on it. Okay, Claire, that was honest. I'm naturally good at it because it involves numbers. Okay, love that. My top, Stephanie, is from Venus.com. Hey, I've been thinking about you. Where you been, bro? Where you been? Wealth, okay. Struggling to attract, okay. Well, what if we drop the struggle and we just attract it? What if no struggle was required? What if money got to be easy? Fun money making is like a universal game. I like that. Hey, bought both of your programs this week, and now I have a little fear regarding money. This is so normal, right? That's why what I teach my clients is before you hand over the credit card or the money or click pay, now play, get in a state of gratitude, get in a state of feeling good, get in a state of whatever I spend comes back to me 11 folds in abundance, in money, in whatever, in pleasure. But yeah, that's so common. We've trained ourselves to feel scarcity when we spend. So scarcity shows up when we spend because that's what we're looking out for. Good morning, Mina. My 12-year-old loves to quote you. Oh my goodness, I love that. Yes, smart 12-year-old if she's resonating with my content. It is safe for me to receive large sums of money at a time. Yes. So Amaka, I think that I'm pronouncing that correctly, hopefully. This has been an interesting fear that I've seen come up. And actually, when I saw this fear come up in a lot of my clients is when I realized that we all collectively had it and I had it too. There's this fear that women have that somehow money is not safe or that having money will make us vulnerable or make us targets. And I didn't even realize this was deeply ingrained in me as well. And I saw enough clients mention these fears to go, oh my God, this is a collective thing. This is a collective thing. It's like in the feminine consciousness. I don't see men fearing money, right? But some do nowadays. It's like some do, but the vast majority, you don't see them scared of money the way that women are scared of money. So I think it's maybe because we're newer at handling money for large portions of our collective history. We were just beholden to men, our fathers and brothers and husbands, and we didn't have our own bank accounts and things. And maybe it's a newer thing and we're just kind of like gaining our footing with it. So I have some notes because I really, really wanted to make sure that I didn't miss some of the things that I wanted to talk about. And today, if you guys could keep your questions related to the topic at hand, it's just so much better for the replay. Okay. So number one, I would say money mistake, and this is just in life in general, is that not knowing how money works. So the number one mistake I would say that women make with money is not knowing how money works. So let me share with you some of my personal thoughts and belief systems around money that I know to be true and that have helped me create wealth and abundance and security and safety and robustness in my life. I believe that money has both a masculine component and a feminine component. Like all things, there's a divine masculine side of money and a divine feminine side of money. And I believe that money is just a form of energy exchange. It's a form of appreciation. It's a form of feeling secure in life. It's a form of knowing that God supports us, and that we're good, we're safe in life, right? And in my life, I believe that 80% of all money is the feminine aspect of it, the manifestation aspect of it, the calling in aspect of it, the aspect of it that knows that it's always a renewable resource, that there's always more, knowing that there's trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars being circulated right now in the economy, and that I am worthy of having a small piece of that, right? Like I'm worthy of it. It's safe for me to receive money. That's the divine feminine aspect, the calling in, the energetic aspect, the part that says I'm worthy of receiving money. The masculine, the divine masculine aspect is the financial literacy aspect. That's the part that believes that when money comes in, I know what to do with it. I know how to grow it. I know how to invest it. I know how to keep it. I know how to secure it. And I do think that there are two different skill sets, because in my life, in my childhood, when I did my money inner work, and I have that process in the $1 Million Babe Money course, and it is linked in the description box, I think. I saw my parents be really, like, their money game was like really inconsistent. They would attract money and make money and hustle for money and all that stuff, but they could never keep it. So that became my story. And so when I started making money, my own money, I found that it was easy for me to make money in the sense that, like, not that I didn't work, right? But I could have large amounts of it, but I could never keep it. Like it came in one door and out the other door. And I had a lot of fun, right? I was spending and I was buying things and I was traveling. Like, yes, I got to do all that. But at the same time, there was always this feeling of like, it comes in and it flies out. So I could never keep it. And now I realize that, like, my divine masculine side of money, like that part wasn't good, right? That part wasn't healed. And when I got married to Irfan, my husband, we brought two different things to the table. He brought the divine masculine side. So Irfan was always very good with keeping money, but he did not know much about manifesting money or like calling it in. So there was always a limit to how much he can bring in. And because there was a limit, there was always this sense from him of like, you have to hoard it, you have to hang on to it, you can't spend it. I came into the relationship knowing that money was infinite, knowing that money was a renewable resource, that I could have large amounts of it, but this fear of like, I'm not going to be able to keep it. Right. So we had a lot of issues in the beginning because we were so different about money. And at one point, I just had to surrender. I remember just like probably about a year and a half into it, maybe even sooner into our marriage, I was just like, look, Mina, obviously, this man is really, really great at keeping money and growing money, right? Yes, he can be very frugal and all that stuff, but he has things and knows things that you don't know. So maybe he's on to something, and your love list did say that you wanted someone that was financially responsible and financially literate, and here he is, right? So I decided that instead of like playing tug of war with him, that I was going to surrender and I was going to learn from him. And the more I showed interest and I learned from him, the more he was open to learning from me. about like, well, money is infinite and maybe we can spend more of it and we can enjoy more of it. And then he started seeing that the more we spent with good intentions and with, when we were feeling good on things that brought us really great joy, the more we could manifest, the more we could come into. So really, I believe that we had the complementary pieces to the puzzle. So there's the energy side and the literacy side. I think every single man and woman on the planet should learn both. I think that they should learn both. We've been we're very good at teaching our kids both. We teach our kids both the actual financial, like how to invest money, how to have bank accounts, how to, how interest works, how index funds work, all of that stuff. But also that there you can always have more, and you don't have to struggle for it. It doesn't have to be this like work hard and struggle and make myself sick, and then I get to allow money in. Like that's a limiting belief, and that's not the truth. You can choose a different truth. So that would be number one. Would be not knowing how money works. And I think we need both the divine masculine and the divine feminine aspects if you want to do it with ease and grace and in a way that feels really, really yummy and delicious. Christina said, yes, that feels so good. I like this idea. Perfect topic for me today. Thank you. Awesome. Yes. Jasmine said, that's exactly my feeling. Like, try to hold water in my hands. Yes. Working towards putting things into place so that I can relax and attract. Beautiful. I love that analogy of like when you hold on to water, like, that doesn't feel good. And at the end of the day, money is supposed to enhance your human experience. It's supposed to, the way that I look at it, this is something that I tell my kids, like spiritual people, good, spiritual people do good things with money. And money is an amplifier, just like drugs and alcohol and fame and all things like that, right? Money is an amplifier. Whatever you have inside of you will be amplified with money. So if you have fear inside of you, you will feel even more fear when money shows up. If you have bad intentions inside of you, if you have ego inside of you, money will give you a bigger ego and it will make you, more of that. So whatever you have, so good people with good intentions who are on a spiritual journey, like they will do good things. I'll be honest with you guys that if I didn't have money, I probably wouldn't be sitting here on YouTube, right? I would be working or worried or trying to hustle or work hard for money. So when I'm supported by money, when God says, here's the money, you're supported, you can hire help and you don't have to worry. What's the thing that I want to do? I want to go and I want to help people. So I think that when you're a good person and you have good intentions and when you feel secure in life, you want to spread joy from your overflow, right? Is that my phone? I hear it vibrating somewhere, but I don't know where I left it. So does that make sense, right? Like money just amplifies whatever you have inside of you. And so you can change what you have inside of you because you can choose different core beliefs. So let's move on to number 2. Okay, so number 2 mistake that women make with money is they start commingling their financial future with someone who doesn't get money. So if you marry someone or are in a relationship with someone and that person doesn't understand how money works, both the divine feminine, the energy part, and the literacy part, the masculine part, and you start commingling, now you're doubling down on the limiting beliefs and all. So, how do you deal with this? If you are in a relationship with someone that is not good with money, instead of blaming them or shaming them, what you do then is say, you know what, I have a desire in my heart to get financially literate and I would like to invite you to do it with me. Like instead of this is how my husband says it, especially with men, you don't want to ever act like you're ahead of them in something, only because then they feel like demotivated, like they're being led, and masculine energy men want to be like, feel like they're the leaders in the relationship. So he says, even if you are a little bit ahead, and I've been the reason this topic showed up is because I believe that he was saying that I'm really good at this, that I would Like if I find something really interesting and even if I'm ahead of it, I will go to him and make it look like we're on the same level and that we're doing this together versus, hey, I know something more than you and like you should learn and I should school you kind of energy. So, it's if you are married to someone that isn't financially literate or doesn't understand the energy work around money, that's an invitation for both of you to grow together. I believe relationships are spiritual platforms for growth and expansion. And so make it an exciting adventure. Like give yourself a container that, hey, we're dedicating the next 12 months or 6 months or 3 months, whatever it is for you, to becoming financially literate together instead of saying, hey, you're so bad with money, let me school you, or don't make mistakes, or you know what I mean, like coming from a place of like something's wrong with you versus like we're going on this next level adventure together. So let's see. Angel said, love that approach. That's a nice approach. My family was horrible with money, and you get to choose a new reality for yourself, right? Oh my God, yes. I've been trying to figure out how to share with a man things without looking like I'm teaching without teaching. Yes. And it makes sense, right? Like when my husband was telling me that, like there was a part of me that can understand and relate to that. Like you don't want to feel like you're being dragged through something that you're not getting or you're behind on, right? You want to feel like I can get behind, oh, okay, we're doing this together versus like, oh my God, here she goes again, or here he goes again, and I have to like catch up. Number 3 money mistake that women make is not having a plan for money. So yes, I believe that money is a renewable resource. I believe that, money will always be available to me. Money will always be coming to me. But at the same time, there's also a plan I have. Remember, I always say, if you don't have a plan for your life, someone else will make you a part of their plan. And you need to know what you're trying to do with the money. And and maybe your plan looks different in your 20s and then it will in your 40s or whatever, but have a plan doesn't mean you need to be like, so like I grip onto my plans loosely. So I have an overall plan and then it's like I also surrender it. Thank you, Nova, for the sticker. You are so generous. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. So what a funny dance. Thank you. Okay. So have a plan. Like my plan for money was and is that money gets to come and stay and have babies and grow and multiply, that money is safe, that money gets to be generational for me, that I get to be the generation that creates generational wealth. This is off topic, but not really. This reminded me when I said generational wealth. About 4 or 5 years ago, my husband and I started saying something, and then we both realized what a nasty limiting belief it was. So the belief was, we started saying that wealth skips a generation. We said it a couple of times to each other. We may have said it in some old videos. And then there was this point where we looked at each other and we're like cursing our kids by saying that, aren't we? Like we're basically assuming that our kids don't get to be wealthy because we get to be wealthy. Like that, it just felt like such a nasty limiting belief. And so we changed that. We decided that that was not something we were going to believe. And we decided that everyone gets to be wealthy, right? All generations get to be wealthy. And so what did that look like for us was that we were going to not hand over wealth to children that didn't know what the hell to do with it. It just meant that we were going to make sure that we were teaching our kids healthy relationship with money in the best of our ability. And we always tell our kids, look, this is where we're parked now. This is what we believe. This isn't written in stone. You get to have your own belief systems around money, but based on where, daddy and I are right now, this is what we believe. And so we taught them different things, right? Like about money, about how money works energetically, financial literacy part. And so we decided that we were not going to say that. We weren't going to believe that. And we were also going to be smart. So we're not like, going to hand over large amounts of money to children that or even young adults that don't know what to do with it. You can create systems and trusts and things in place so that you do get to bless them with your overflow, but at the same time do it in a way that is responsible and that helps them, it frees them, it grows them, versus limiting them or hindering their own success, if that makes sense. Let me know if that makes sense to you guys. But I'm sharing this as an example because we inherit all kinds of limiting beliefs around money, and you have to be careful, because imagine if Irfan and I really started believing in that, then we're basically cursing our kids and saying that they don't get to have wealth, right? And that's not true. I know plenty of people that have generational wealth for 3 generations, 4 generations, and so that's definitely a lie. Thank you for the sticker, Christine. Oh my goodness, you are so sweet. She said #1 fan. Oh my goodness. Thank you. I appreciate you. Okay, totally. I can save money but not able to attract it. We are working on paying down our home so that I can free flow like Mina and feel financially secure. That's a beautiful goal. That's a great goal. I had that goal when I was very young, a teenager. I know where that came from for me. It's so interesting how our childhood shapes our reality around money. I had a very inconsistent childhood. I think I moved over 25 times under the age of 16. We were moving countries, sometimes states, definitely neighborhoods. We were homeless for 6 months at one point through some decisions that my parents made. And we had to move into a studio apartment with my dad's best friend. It was him and the 5 of us for like 6 months. And I felt very much like I was intruding on my dad's friend. And it was just kind of an awkward situation. So by the time I was 18, 19 years old, I was already saying like, I need to have a paid off house. Like, I believed that the only way that I could feel secure in life was if I had a paid off property that was in my name. So of course, not everyone has this limiting belief or needs this, but that became like a thing that I had to have. And it's so interesting how I got into real estate then and all that stuff. So I found examples of people in my family. I had aunts and uncles that had paid off house. They lived very modest lives, and they had modest homes, but they owned their homes outright. So I was like, I want to be like that. I want to own my own house. And so that's how that became my goal. So I love it. I have started this with my 8-year-old daughter, respecting it, valuing it. Money is plenty. We'll always get it if we work smartly. I like that. I like that you're saying work smartly, because I think the whole concept of hard work has been so closely tied to money that we feel like we can't even allow money in unless we struggle for it, until we adrenal fatigue for it, until we burn out for it, right? But that's not true, right? Money gets to flow easily. Money can come through things that we love to do. Like the whole starving artist creative thing has become such a big thing in the consciousness, that now artists and painters or whatever musicians feel like you have to struggle or be poor if you get to live your dream career. But that's not true. That's a limiting belief. Like, you get to choose a different belief for yourself. Give me some likes, ladies, so more people can find this. Let me go see if I can find my phone. I'll be right back. Okay, here it is. Because sometimes my husband will text me things from upstairs. Yeah, he's texting me. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. So we did number 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth mistake that women make when it comes to money, and I know I put men in the title, but I think this is in general I just want to talk about money and women in general, and I can answer any questions related to men as well. Number 4 is not saving and investing money when you are in a state of overflow. So, like I said in the beginning, yes, I believe that money is a renewable resource. I believe that, money will always keep coming in as long as I'm a vibrational match for it. Like, I believe all that. That's like, it's everything to me. 80% of it, money and manifesting money is the divine feminine. But that 20% is also important. Like, don't negate that. There's been points in my life where there was a huge overflow and abundance of money, and I was spending like a freaking rock star, right? A rapper or whatever you want to say. And then I had nothing to show for it at the end. And because I innately knew that I was financially illiterate, that created fear in me, and the fear blocked my manifestations. And then I started going down with how much I could attract. So it was like this really weird loop. And then that created really nasty limiting beliefs in me. And then I started reframing, and I said, you know what? Money gets to come in, money gets to be in overflow, but money also gets to stay. Money also gets to support me. Money gets to be invested. Money gets to grow. And I started like really changing these beliefs. It took a long time. Like, I know that they were deeply ingrained in me. And so I started really like releasing a lot of that fear around money and expanding my container to receive more. So, not that money can't be consistent in your life. It can, it will always come in. But if you are not saving it from an overflow perspective, from a perspective of like, it's so yummy and delicious to spend it, I don't have to hoard it. But at the same time, it's also fun to invest money. You're also spending it when you're buying investments. So that's another way that I started looking at it. And I believe that the universe is giving me an overflow because God wants me to put it to good use and invest it and do fun things. And what that did for me, it started releasing that fear that I had of like, one of the worst things you can do, ladies, is when you're spending money, feel bad. When you feel scarcity or like it's limited, you have to get yourself, if you get nothing else from this video today or from my work around money, you have to feel good when you spend it. That's why I had released the Money Mojo challenge, which I will be opening up again for you guys. It's right now, it's part of the money course, but I'll open up the free challenge for you guys soon too. I just have to restructure a few things on my site to be able to do that. In the Money Mojo challenge, it was a 3-day challenge, and what I did is I taught you guys how to feel good while spending money and release the things that don't feel good. So when you're spending money on things that don't feel good, you have two options. You either have to get rid of that expense, or you have to fully get your energy behind that expense. Because if you're feeling like a ding in your heart, or like that sinking feeling when you're spending, that's what you will manifest more of. Then you'll get emergencies and things showing up in your life that will make you feel bad about spending. So get in the habit of feeling good. Money is just exchanging energy. It's an invitation. It's a form of appreciation. It's nothing more than that. Before money was invented, we used to exchange goats, right? So it's just an exchange of energy. We used to exchange all kinds of things back in the day before the invention of money. And it doesn't have to mean anything more than simply what you assign, to the meaning that you assign to it. Oh, thank you. You guys are so sweet. Thank you for the super chat. I think it's Ruby Black. Thank you. I recently came across your video. Your knowledge has been helping me. I'm so glad. Yes. I love it when it just resonates. Beautiful. Mina, I struggle with that. Sometimes I'll buy something knowing I have the money. I will still feel bad at the gut level working on this. Babe, that's something to really work on. So I would get in your journal and be like, what's really going on here? Like when I'm, manifesting this money and money is enhancing my life or my experience or whatever you're spending on, what in me feels bad when I'm spending on this experience? What's going on? Is it a worthiness issue? Is it a scarcity issue? Like what's really going on underneath the surface? And that's something to really, really, really work through. Really work through. Because your vibration should be high when you're spending, because money gets to support you. Money gets to provide for you. Money gets to have, that divine feminine luscious experience, that yumminess. And it also gets to be this container of support and security for you. So number 5 mistake that I see women making with money is that they're not growing with money. This is a big one. Um, I will be completely honest and transparent with you guys that every time I go to a new level, I still have to grow my energetic container to this day to be able to hold it. There's still fear that comes in me sometimes. There's still ickiness around money that shows up when I go my next level. So I still do the same work that I teach you guys. It's not like it's not a one and done kind of thing. Maybe it is for some people. I think when I think of Oprah, I'm sure when she attracts that next level billion, whatever, she probably still has to be like, okay, like let's expand the container, right? I don't know. Of course, I don't personally know Oprah, but I like to believe that we all, need to keep expanding because there are levels that I get to that are my next level that I've called in. And then I have to like go back in my journal and be like, okay, Mina, it's okay. It's still safe. Money still gets to come in. Money is safe. I get to grow with money. I get to expand with money. The more I grow, the more I evolve, the more I learn, the more I embody, the more money gets to flow in, the more money gets to stay with me, the more money gets to have little babies and grow and grow and grow. Okay, so another thing that I want to share with you guys is a few years ago, I saw something on the internet, and I don't think this is like an official definition, but it really resonated with me. I saw this on YouTube, on Facebook, I think. Someone had written that rich is when you have to work for money and you get to make large amounts of money. And wealth is when money gets to work for you and money gets to create more wealth for you. And I was like, oh my God, I really, really like that. Because I know plenty of rich people, but they can't stop working because they will lose, like, it's like they're rich, but they're paycheck to paycheck rich, if that makes sense, right? Like when we hear stories about who was the famous one, I think it was MC Hammer. I'm 40, so like back in the day, right? In the 90s, who had this one hit wonder and like he had this famous song and he made all these millions and then he had like a $40,000 a month entourage or something like that. And then he lost all his money and he was bankrupt, right? So this is really, really interesting. I have to tell you guys a story about that. Oh my God. So back when I was working in corporate, I was working for this really, really wealthy man and I was his like executive assistant. And we went and did a convention together in Vegas. Like I had to go and help people do this, set up this convention and stuff. And so my boss was, let's just call him Jerry. That wasn't his name. Jerry was like, he came running to me and he's like, give me a pen, give me a pen. And I'm like, okay, calm down. Like, I'm looking for a pen. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And he's like, I have to get in line and get MC Hammer's autograph. Right. And then he runs off. I have to tell you this because Jerry, my boss, was a freaking like multi-millionaire, like a deca millionaire, right? Like he's not like a small millionaire. And so he goes and stands in this line in Vegas in a convention for like an hour to get MC Hammer's autograph. And he comes back and he's showing me the t-shirt. And I'm like, Jerry, MC Hammer is broke. Like he has like filed bankruptcy or whatever, right? I'm like, you just spent an hour standing in line to get his autograph. Don't you think MC Hammer should have been standing in line getting your autograph because you were born into poverty and you're a self-made person that's a multimillionaire and you get to keep your wealth, right? And he was just laughing, but I thought it was funny because to me, it's like, both of them are worthy of being celebrated and all that, but I feel like we over glamorize like people that are able to do these so I believe MC Hammer had the financial energy part, like he knew the divine feminine part of like calling in a large amount of money, but he didn't have the financial literacy part. So he didn't know how to create it and keep it and structure in a way that he can be wealthy. So someone like MC Hammer, I don't know his story now. I'm talking way back. He was rich, but he wasn't wealthy, right? Can you guys see the difference? Like that's the difference. So when you know what to do with money, you can invest money in a way that money grows. And I'm a very safe investor. Like Like, I know some people play the stock market like it's gambling, but I'm not that there yet. Like, we're very safe in the way that we invest and stuff like that. We have some friends that do the whole gambling style with the stock market and things like that. That's just not us. But there is a way to do it in a safe way that money keeps growing and you actually get to build wealth, if that makes sense. Balling on a budget. Mina, I just help my mom financially because she depends 100% on me. I get anxious wherever I go out to eat with my fiance. I'm like, is there enough money to pay for all this? Ah, oh my goodness. So is he paying for it? And how do you think he's experiencing you not being able to receive his generosity? And remember, when we can't receive one thing, we can't receive another thing. It's receiving is still receiving is still receiving. So if you can't receive a compliment or a gift or a meal from someone, then you also can't receive money from the universe or from God or whatever higher belief systems that you have. It's all the same energy. So what would it take for you to be able to reprogram yourself, your nervous system, your mindset, to be able to relax into that? I get to receive, I decide to receive, I receive a compliment with the same excitement and enthusiasm as I do $1 million or $10 or whatever it is that you can get behind. I love all your stories, Mina. The moment you say, oh my God, I have to tell you this, I'm all ears. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Sometimes I'm like, is this like too much? Is it too much stories? So that helps me. Thank you. I like that you enjoy the stories. I'm glad we don't exchange goats anymore. Yes. I have to be in a good mood to spend money. If it doesn't feel good, I can go weeks without spending money. Okay. All right. And do you think that that's enhancing your experience with money, or do you think that's limiting your experience? The thing that I'm working on is separating my financial stability from my family's. It's been hard going anywhere when I felt like I can only get financially stable when my family is. They never put this burden on me. I did it on my own. So, Jasmine, it seems like you've created this story around financial robustness or stability. So and that's a story. And the good thing about a story is that you get to rewrite your story, and you can have different belief systems, and you can write a different story that is more empowering. And we sometimes inherit stories in our childhood or from society or culture or whatever. And maybe they served us at one point, but are they serving you now? Are these the stories that you want to consciously believe for yourself? Chick Love said, I love you. Chic Love said, I love you, Mina. Since I started listening to you every morning, I wake up at night before I go to bed. I have learned so much. I see my mistakes in love and lack of attracting wealth. Great. And we get to grow and evolve. Yes. Thank you. It might be limiting me. I should enjoy it all the time. Yes. If that's what you want, right? If that's what you want. So what is your plan with money? Like how does money get to support you? How does money get to enhance your life experience, right? How does money get to provide for you, support you? So my core beliefs are that money gets to support me, money gets to bring me joy, money gets to be the spiritual and energetic exchange that I make with people. So when we we had a really, really large tax, well, every year we have a really large tax bill. And years ago, I remember when I first started my business and our taxes went up, there was this consciousness. I heard my husband saying some things like, oh my God, we have to make this large payment and this and that. And it did not feel good to me. And so I knew that needed to be corrected, but I knew that I needed to correct it in me first. So I got in my journal and I was like, I love paying taxes. I love supporting my country. I love supporting my state. I love supporting my neighborhood. I love supporting my neighbors. I love supporting the highways and the streets and the school systems and the social systems. I love paying taxes. I'm in gratitude that I get to pay taxes. Thank you, God, for putting me in a position that I get to pay large amounts of taxes. And so I got really, really behind it first. because I knew that if my vibration was weird about it, my husband would feel like I was schooling him or correcting him or kind of judging him for these statements that he was making around having to pay these taxes now all of a sudden, right? So when I was like 100% behind it, like it felt really like I was like, yes, I get to pay taxes. I get to live in the United States. I get to pay taxes. I get to support all these community events and all this stuff. Then when Irfan was making those kind of statements, I was like, you know what? And without correcting him, when he would say that, I would just say, oh, I feel so blessed that I get to pay these taxes. My business not only gets to support me and it gets to support all my students and my clients, but my business gets to support our school systems and it gets to support our streets and it gets to support our neighborhood. Like I would just go on this like random tangent. And then like he's just kind of like looking at me like this woman's crazy. But eventually, like it became okay to pay large amount of taxes, right? Like it became okay. In fact, it became a celebration. And I'm so glad that we were able to change this because my 16-year-old, my 16 and a half year old son, like he has a completely different viewpoint of what taxes means. Like there is no negativity around it. You know, there's no like weirdness around the government is taking our money kind of thing. Like it's an honor to be able to support the systems. And, you know, of course, we're still smart business owners and, you know, the write-offs that we get to have, like we're still smart about it. But at the same time, you know, I'm not going to block my vibration and limit the amount of money that can come in by being weird around taxes. I remember my mother had this client back in the day when we were both doing real estate, and my mom was telling me the story of this guy who was buying this investment property, and he kept rejecting the properties based on how much capital gains tax he would have to pay. But like it wasn't registering for him for some reason. I mean, he was a very smart businessman, but for some reason it was like he wasn't okay with the fact that yes, you're going to have to pay more capital gains tax, but it's only because you earned more money. Like that's not a bad thing, right? But in his head, it was like if he had to pay taxes, so he would rather let go of $100,000 in profit because he would have to pay $30,000 in taxes. Like, does that make sense? So my mom was like, it's just weird how like people think and what kind of belief systems that they have. And so that I had remembered that. And so when, you know, my husband was making these comments about, oh my God, this is a large tax bill. I'm like, well, this is a good problem to have, right? Like it's a good problem to have. Yes, I heard Kevin O'Leary say that if you have a lot of money to pay in taxes, that means you're making a lot of money. Yes, that's how can that always, like, what are you really saying? So let's tap into the vibration. When I say, oh no, I have to pay a lot of taxes, and oh no, the government's taking my money. What I'm saying to the universe is please don't give me more money because then the government's going to take more money or I'm going to have to pay more in tax. Like that's what I'm really saying with my vibration. Right? I love paying taxes could be the only strategy to keep growing financially and not blocking wealth. It makes total sense. Yes. Every single penny that goes out, when you write that check or click that play button or play, why do I see money is such a play for me that I keep saying play instead of pay. Maybe we'll just keep that. When you click that, what is going on with this candle? Jesus, my goodness, that was so weird. Candle randomly starts dancing around while it's lit. So whenever an exchange of money is being made, how do you feel? So I have this prayer and I've infused all of my programs, all of my work with this, that every single time someone buys, whether it's a $17 product or a $30,000 product, every spend money on my website to buy my services, my programs, that immediately not only are they completely transformed in their consciousness and in their, in their genetic upgrade, in their inner work, all of that yummy stuff, but that money that they spend instantly gets to come to that 11 fourths. 11 times, right? And that's something I pray on every single day. That's a part of my morning prayer. It's a part of my evening prayer, that every single time someone comes and gives me money, they get 11 folds immediately back in some way, as long as they're a vibrational match for it. So I do it the other way around too. And every time I spend money, whether it's for the electricity bill or my cell phone bill, or dinner out, or a donation, or whatever it is, that I get to feel it. The biggest celebration, I celebrate every penny going on, and I celebrate the donations and the charity and all of that work even more, because I'm like, this one is going to come back 100 folds, because I'm feeling even more joy that I get to exchange and expand and give from my overflow. So this is something that you can train yourself into. Before, I noticed that when I married my husband, he was very frugal and very much like every penny has to be saved. I noticed that it made me feel bad. Like if I was buying a $2 something, I would feel bad about it. And I'm like, oh, that's not how I came into the marriage. So I'm like, this is not good. We're blocking abundance. Like this does not feel good to me, right? I would second guess my purchases. And so I'm like, no, we are not doing that. I started working on myself because I didn't want that to become a part of my story, a part of my vibration. Thank you, Tyra. Love and abundance to you, Mina. Thank you so much. May the blessings multiply 11 folds for you. Thank you. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you. Carlotta, thank you for the super chat, the sticker. I appreciate you. May it be multiplied 11 folds. A question, is it okay to offer my significant other to become a partner in business? I want to invest my money to open a coffee shop. He would be a manager. So it's before I answer this, let me just say that it all depends, and it's very hard to coach people with just like one little bit of information on YouTube, right? So I am a life coach, and when you're in my container, I can ask you questions, we can work through stuff, right? So without knowing who this person is, you're saying significant other, is this a husband? What's the situation? How do you feel about it? How is he with money? How's his energy with the business? So many things go into play here. Where is this need to involve him coming from, right? Like, yes, you can do it, but like I would work through the stuff first, right? Like in my business, in what I create, I don't even think of it as a business. Sometimes I do, but it's like my joy, like my pride, my overflow. I love what I do. My husband doesn't need to be a part of it. He's automatically a part of it because we're married. And in the United States, when you're married, you are business partners, whether you like it or not. Legally, you are business partners. So in that way, yes. Does Irfan help me sometimes with my business when I need help? Of course he does. He helps me with everything. He supports me in every way. Does he need to be involved in it? No, because this is my thing. This is something that I enjoy doing. He has a full-time job and he's got so many other responsibilities that he needs to take care of. So my question would be first for you to explore is like, where is this need that he needs to be involved comes from? Like, is it coming from a healthy place? I always second guess my purchases. So where is that coming from? Where is that coming from, right? Explore that, go deep into that. Is it because you're spending on things that you don't really enjoy? Is it because you feel you're not worthy of spending money on yourself? Like where deep down is it coming from? Okay. Christina said, oops, I lost the question. How can we tell men about amazing spiritual things, theories that we know without looking like we are teaching, or when telling men about our arena of knowledge? So, first if this was me, I would say, where is the need to tell them coming from? Like, am I telling them because I want to peacock and be like, hey, look at me, how smart and spiritual I am? I would question that myself, not that that's why you're doing it, but just I like to explore these things. So I don't teach anything to anyone that doesn't, there has to be an invitation and there has to be an exchange, because without that, they're not even listening. And what does the Bible say? Without ears to hear, I'm totally blanking out on it, but like if they don't have their ears open, they're not going to hear it, right? So in my family, with my husband and my kids, there's an open invitation. They want to be coached and they want to learn and we want to grow, evolve together. So there is a clear invitation. Like my husband has said to me about certain things, call me out when I do this, call me out when I say this. So there is an open invitation, but I would never go and randomly try to like teach men anything, right? Like I assume that as I have access to this information, so do they, right? Like I have spent my life studying and learning and growing and expanding. Maybe they have too. And who's to say they don't know more than me? Maybe I'm just not parked at the place that they're parked yet. Is having two different money philosophies a deal breaker in relationship? I would ask you, is that a deal breaker on your love list? What does your love list say about this? What does your love list say? So for my love list, it wasn't a deal breaker. It just said that my husband needs to be financially literate and financially responsible. So that obviously we came in with two very different philosophies, and not only was it not a deal breaker, it ended up being really a great spiritual growth experience because we both taught each other and expanded together. Sometimes I get a high vibration on a particular item and then talk myself out of it. I regret it later. I used to do that too. And then you come home and you're like, why didn't I buy the thing, right? Yeah, these are all blocks that we have and things that we can easily work through. Like, what if I just love having conversations about deep stuff? Then do it. Then do it and see their reaction. Like, be in the moment. Don't do stuff just because it's the right thing to do or I love to do it. Like, I've noticed that if I'm talking to someone and I'm loving having the conversation, but I'm reading their energy and they seem kind of closed off and they're not loving it, then I stop talking. And then I go talk to someone else that likes that kind of conversation. Like just because we like talking about certain things doesn't mean the other person does, right? So talk to yourself, journal, have circles of friends for different things. This is something I learned from my husband. When we got married, he used to say that certain groups of your friends should not mingle with each other. And I thought that was kind of weird because I never really thought about it like that. And years later, it started making sense to me because like he's got his group of people, his friends that are like where they talk about money and they're all wealthy and they talk about certain things. And then he's got a different group of people that those people work paycheck to paycheck. Like they won't understand anything my husband says. In fact, they think that my husband's not the one doing the right stuff. So he's like those two worlds don't belong together. So I thought that was very, very interesting. And sometimes you need a group of people that you can be spiritual with and then also have a group of girlfriends that you can just go to lunch with or go shopping with, and they may not be spiritual people. Like I have friends from every walk of life and every age group, and not most of my friends are not like me, by the way. They're not like me with you, like at all. They're not spiritual, or they may be in different ways, and some of my friends think I'm completely batshit cuckoo with the spiritual stuff, right? And that's okay. That's okay. We still get to be friends. We get to have a good time. And I get to share that part of me with you guys and not them. Does that make sense? Hi, Mina. I have a weird fear when I help people online, like Lab, keto website, especially when someone's baby is in trouble. That fear is my baby will fall ill. So if that's what you're animating when you're doing it, like you need to work through that, because that's a scary fear, right? And if there was a fear like that from me popping up, I'd stop doing that thing until I could clear my energy around it. I would definitely stop doing that thing. So let's talk more about, I don't have any more notes here, but there's another one coming up for me. So I have recently had some clients that were having relationships with men simply for the money. Okay, let's just say it that way. So I had recently had some clients that were receiving large amounts of gifts from men, and some of these clients, most of these clients, except for one, were still in a bad financial situation because their belief was that, yes, men are giving me these money, but like I don't get to keep it. Like there's something wrong with the money. It comes in, it goes out. And there's always this need of, I have to keep doing this. I have to keep, getting these gifts, or I'm always going to be one gift away from losing my house and things like that. And it's the same thing in every profession, right? Like whether you are in a relationship where your boyfriend is giving you an allowance or giving you all this money, or you're a doctor or a lawyer or a stay-at-home mom or a business owner, all the blocks are still there. The belief systems still count, right? If these women, they're getting, and some of these women are getting really, really, really large amounts of money from their boyfriends, but they don't have a plan for the money. So it comes in and they'll buy designer things and nice things and they're driving luxury cars, but there's this feeling of like, I don't feel secure, I don't feel safe, because they're not investing the money. The divine masculine side of it is so off. The divine masculine, the financial literacy side of it is so off. And so I see women doing this on YouTube too, right? And no judgment, like do what you want to do with your money. That's the beauty of it. It always gets to renew. But what I would advise, if you were my client, what you would hear from me is that, great, good for you for being able to manifest all this amazing money, and let's have a plan for it. Like, let's have it so that it gets to come in. And yes, you get to have some nice designer things. Like, I love designer things too. Like, I get it. But at the same time, I also like buying index funds, right? And stocks that give me dividends. And I also like that my house is paid off and my cars are paid off. And so it's okay to have all of those things. It's okay to, like, I believe that your life isn't in harmony if you have a nice designer car and a closet full of designer shoes and handbags, but you have no assets that are working for you. That is not harmony to me, right? Because they're too personally, maybe this is just my limiting belief, but I would not feel safe if I had a closet full of designer things, but my house still had a mortgage on it. Because I would say, okay, I'm going to buy one nice purse and then I'm going to start paying off the house. That's just me. That's just me. I'm not saying that's the right thing for everyone, but I believe that if you want to feel secure, then make a list, have a plan of what that looks like for you. How would you feel secure? How would you feel good? Another financial mistake that women make with men is getting into, I believe, this is my belief system, that getting into 50-50 relationships where they have to pay 50%, and then they live in fear that if they lose their job, not only would they lose their income, but they might also lose their relationship, because a lot of times these men are like, well, you have to keep working. They can't, if they have babies, they have to go back to work immediately. Like money is supposed to bring you security. Relationship is supposed to amplify your joy, right? So if getting in a relationship or getting, paying 50-50, if that's making you more miserable or unhappier or more insecure, like how is that serving your life, right? I'm not here to make judgment calls or decisions for you. As your friend, I would say that, hey, is this a part of your plan? And if you say, yes, Mina, this is what I want to do, I would be like, babe, I love you, give you a hug. Like, I support you 110% in what makes you happy. But make sure that your plan is actually intentionally set in a way that it makes you happy. That's it. Right. I say the same thing to my kids. My kids already know, I've already had these conversations. There's nothing that you can do that will make me fall out of love with you. To my kids, there's nothing you can do that will make me fall out of love with you. You are always loved. You are always worthy. You can choose any career that you want. You can choose any major in college. You can choose any college. You can choose whether you want to go to college or not. You can choose anyone that you marry or not marry, or whether you have kids or not have kids. I will still love you. But make sure that your decisions are good and intentional for you and part of your plan. Don't become a part of someone else's plan unintentionally. And that's it. That's it. There will never be any judgments from me. Like that's set. And I told, this is a conversation I had with my older son. He was saying, thank you for saying that, because I often think about this. And this is what I said. I said that there will be times in your life where you will filter your decisions from the point of view of like, will mom be okay with this? Because I know I did that a lot. And sometimes those things will serve you and at other times they won't. So I'm like, just know that I will love you regardless of the decisions that you make. So make sure the decisions are your decisions and you can stand behind them 110%. Don't worry about what I'm going to think because I will always love you anyways. What do you think it means if I'm paying the mortgage, but he wants a roommate to come in to lessen the burden? I rather pay than live with a roommate. It feels weird. What's the difference? So I don't think it means anything to me because I've never been in this situation. What does it mean to you? How does it feel to you? Right? My job isn't to tell you how things feel. My job is, as your friend, as your mentor, as your coach, to say, go inside and see how it feels for you. I can have all kinds of judgments about everything and anything that have nothing to do with you, right? So if it feels weird, explore that. Get in your journal and be like, this doesn't feel good. Like, why does it feel weird? What's coming up? And then when you can get your energy behind it, then go up to your partner and be like, I like this idea and I see where you're going with it, but it just does not feel good in my body. And I like to listen to my body and I like to trust my intuition. And what can we do about this? I'm recognizing that my live-in partner has limiting beliefs about money and self-worth. I need him to I need him to provide and make money. Do I talk to him or should I do more inner work to adjust the situation? So, Nicole, I never discuss anything with my husband without getting behind it myself because I made this mistake for years where I would go and talk to him about stuff without cleaning up my own energy first, and then it would always be mirrored back to me in really, really weird energy. And we would either get in an argument, or my husband would feel blamed, or he would feel belittled, or whatever. And it was just like, what just happened here? And I've just learned that when I own the thing 110% within me first, and I can then share it in a way that's not blaming energy or fear energy or constricting energy, that my husband is way more likely, probably 99% of the time, able to come up with a solution that works for both of us. And 1% of the time, be able to explain to him, be able to explain to me why he can't do it. So to answer your question, Nicole, both. Do your inner work first on that, like get behind it first. That, do I really need him to provide? What's my limiting belief that is coming up? Is this being mirrored back to me? Why did I attract this partner? Is there something in me that's saying that I'm not worthy of being provided for by a man? Is there something in me that's being mirrored back from my partner? Are there fears in me that's being mirrored back, right? I don't think that my money comes through my husband, right? Or no, actually, let me rephrase that. I don't think that my money comes from my husband. I believe money comes through God, and it filters through different sources. So money in my life currently comes through my husband's job. It comes through my business. It comes through my financial investments. It comes through capital gains. It comes through dividends, right? Like, it comes through passive income. It comes from all these different things, like, funneled through. But really, God's the one that I'm speaking to. Like, the universe, higher power, higher consciousness, source energy is the one that I'm speaking to. So I don't blame my money on anyone. I don't say, well, Irfan's not working, so I can't have money. Like, Irfan's job is just one way that the money can be filtered through to me, right? Like, God has infinite ways that it can come to me. So I would work through that first and then say, hey, this is what I need in a relationship. This is a part of my love list. And this is what I need you to do, right? And so also, if you're not married, be careful who you attach yourself to in a relationship, right? Like, does this person really match your love list? Justine said, what is the best way to start from the basics? Where should we start with affirmation and financial skills? My ex provide for me because of our kids. Okay, Justine. So I have a money course. It's called the $1 Million Babe Money Course. And that's all the divine feminine part of it. That's the manifesting part. That's the attracting part. I just added 3 new modules to it, and I'm adding more modules to it as well, just because I'm being called to add new information to it. So I think right now there's probably 7 or 8 hours of content in there at least, and there's more I'm adding in there. So that's a place for you if you want to do that. For the basics, for the literacy part, there's Dave Ramsey. There's books I love are Dave Ramsey books. I think are a really great place to start because they're so basic that even I feel like kids can learn it. Armand's done like the basic like Dave Ramsey program as part of his this group this mentorship group I was part of. They had him do that and he got it. So it's like pretty basic. Another place to start is YouTube, right? Like we live in the age of information. Like there's so many YouTube channels that are geared towards financial literacy. There's books you can read. The books that I love are The Millionaire Next Door by Dr. Thomas Stanley. I believe his daughter has a new book now. Sarah Stanley, I want to say, as The Next Millionaire Next Door is a good book. The Automatic Millionaire by David Bach is a really great financial resource for the divine masculine part. So there's so many resources now. And I would always say it gets to be easy. I get to learn it. The energy part was always easy for me. The spiritual money part was always easy. The financial literacy part was really hard because I was making it really complicated. In my head, it was like, this is hard. There's math. Like, I'm not going to get it. Like, that's the story that I kept telling myself. So when I would sit down to learn, I would get a headache. The story was, this is too hard. I'm never going to get it. Screw this. Let's just manifest more money. And then I was like, no, I really want to learn. I want to learn it. Right. So my husband's best friend and his wife, they're big into the stock market and investing. And every time we would go out with them, which was like all the time pre-COVID, my husband, his best friend and his best friend's wife, they would be talking about stocks and things. This was like 4 or 5 years ago. And I would feel so left out because I was manifesting all this money through my business, but I couldn't talk about, like, you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't be involved in that conversation and something did not feel good to me. And so I was like, you know what? She's a woman and she totally like gets the financial, like, stock market and stuff. And so I came home one day when I was like really feeling left out and just like feeling so icky. And I wrote in my journal that I decide that I get to be financially literate. Like, I decide that if she can do it, like, I can know about the stock market, that I get to be the kind of woman that like gets the stock market, right? And I devoted like a whole 1.5 years, 2 years. And it gave me the biggest headache. I cried sometimes because I'm like, I don't fucking get this. But I did it. Like, I get it now. Like, I know how investments work. And so my husband taught me some. I read books. I watched YouTube videos. I listened to CNBC. Like, I did all that stuff. And now we don't buy any stocks until we're both together. Like, we do it together. It's like a couple event. Like, it's a fun thing. We make sure we're feeling really, really good when we're hitting the click button. So I decided and I did it, right? Like, was it easy? No, but could it have been? Yes. I think I was just committed to making it harder than it needed to be, really. Thank you, Barbie, for the super chat. She said, Mina, thank you so much. I really needed to hear this today. You're right on time. You're such an angel adding to my life. Oh, Barbie, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Divine timing. I love it. I love it. So much value on this video. Oops, I lost it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad that this is resonating with you guys. Small steps, so many things to learn. Yes, small baby steps. By the way, I am huge on baby steps, especially for things like that. I have convinced myself that they're hard. I had convinced myself that the financial literacy part was hard, but it wasn't. Let me tell you, now that I get it, it actually wasn't. I was just committed to making it harder than it needed to be. That's it. I had a story in my head that said, I don't get numbers. Numbers don't get ease. And then I'm like, you manifest large amounts of money. Numbers love you. You see angel numbers everywhere. Numbers love you. Quit saying the story. Quit believing these lies, right? This is value content. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm happy. In the past, I had success with Dave Ramsey. However, I don't feel good about following his plan because I don't want to feel like I'm coming from a place of lack. Do I follow the professional or the self? The self. It sounds like, Claire, that you have outgrown him, that he provided a service and something in your life, a missing piece to the puzzle, and now you have grown him. I'm the same way with Dave Ramsey. There's parts of his work that I resonate with at the time that when I was there, because I learned financial literacy from a little bit from his plan. And I would never follow him now because I'm in a completely different place. Like, right? Like I'm manifesting larger and larger amounts. I already know what to do with it. There's parts of his work that I completely don't agree with, and neither does Irfan. Like, you know, the reason I found Dave Ramsey, he was an important part of my puzzle, was that everything that Irfan used to talk about money used to annoy me because I used to think that Irfan was coming from a place of lack and a place of scarcity because Irfan was frugal. Like his friends used to call him Coupon Mom. Like that was his nickname. He was super frugal, right? And so I used to get really annoyed because that was not me. We used to butt heads all the time about this early in our marriage. When I prayed about it and Dave Ramsey showed up, and Dave Ramsey was saying a lot of similar things, but I didn't have any weirdness with Dave Ramsey because he wasn't my husband. And I was like, oh, well, seems like smart people about money say similar things, right? And so the reason that I value Dave Ramsey is because he made me not be weird with my husband about money, if that makes sense, and understand that it's a part of the process. But that doesn't mean that I would hand over like my manifestation powers. Like, no, Irfan can't manifest money that I can, because I'm definitely ahead of him on that part, right? So like the only person I trust on that is me, like between me and God, right? If I have weirdness around that, I go to my journal and I'm like, God, what is going on? Come on, let's write this out. Well, I bought some new pens. Speaking of journals, I'm kind of addicted to like, pens are like, they have to be good because I'm a huge journal person. So I got these new pens from Amazon and so far I'm loving them. They're like, Alina took pretty much like half of them, but I still have some left. They're like really thin markers. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see it. She took all the good colors, but I still have some left. So it seems like I forgot who had written the Dave Ramsey comment, but like now you're supposed to move on from and find the next layer. Can you explain the difference in your two courses? Oh, Chrissy, which one? Are you talking about the Manifesting Babes and the Money course? Okay, so the magnetism and Manifesting Babes course is more about manifesting in general, manifesting a house, a man, money, manifesting your dream body, like just the skill of manifesting, taking energy, source energy, spiritual energy, you know, all that is energy, and turning it into something physical. So there was energy and then I turned it into pens, right? Like I now can hold these physical pens. It's because I desired nice pens and then they showed up. So that's that group. The money course is more like inner work around just money, your childhood BS and nonsense around money, how we're going to reframe it, how we're going to choose new stories, and how we're going to call in money, and how we're going to layer, baby step it, right? First, so this is one of the examples I shared in there. When I first learned that you could earn money from YouTube, it was like, what? Like that blew my mind, right? Like I did not even know that that was a thing, like that you could earn money. I was just doing YouTube because like I wanted to make friends. And so I was like, oh my God, you can earn money on YouTube. So I monetized my channel and I started earning $50 a month. At that time, it was like, wow, I'm earning $50 a month from YouTube. That's all my container could hold. That's all at that time, that was like what my energetic container could hold. Then I made a friend on YouTube who was a YouTuber years ago, and I learned she was a month with less videos than me. I was like, what? So then I was like, I decide to make $100 a month. Then I started making $100 a month. Then I found out there were other YouTubers that were making $1,000 a month. And then I was like, what? I get to make $1,000 a month. So I started making $1,000 a month. And then I kept meeting people who were like my 4-minute miles. And it was just like, what is going on here? And at some point, I was just like, oh my God, this is unlimited. And the pattern was that every time I allowed and decided that I got to earn this new amount, it showed up. All I had to say was decide and believe, and it showed up. Hey, am I still live? I feel like everything is like stuck for a second. Someone say you're still live and I can see you and hear you in the chat. Okay, good. just checking. So it just blew my mind, right? When I was making 6 figures in my business, in my YouTube business, I met someone that was making 6 figures a month. And I was like, this woman just blew my mind, right? So I'm like, I get to make 6 figures a month. Like this is unlimited, like, of course. So I started making 6 figures a month. And then I actually last year met someone, not in person. I don't know this person. I met them in a Facebook group that was for all men and women, like entrepreneurs, who wrote in, celebrating today, I've had my first 7-figure day. And I'm like, I need to like sit down for a second. Did she just wrote, I went in and I read it, celebrating my first 7-figure day. And then she had a screenshot of her bank account with her 7-figure day. And I'm like, oh my God. Like I'm not there yet, nowhere close. But it's like, wow, right? So every time something like that happens, I'm always like, I'm not asking for enough. I haven't decided for enough. That's why you have to decide. And, you guys know this, the 4-minute mile story, right? Like people believe that no one could run a mile in 4 minutes, so no one could run it. Then this one guy showed up. I don't remember his name. Does anyone remember what his name was? Irfan and Arman are always using him as an example. He ran the 4-minute mile. And once he ran it, so many more people ran it after him. What happened? Because now we had an example of someone who could do it. So he had to be the first outlier. He had to be the one that got to be the first one to do it. He believed when he couldn't see it. He had faith. Faith is believing in something before you can see it, right? So he had faith and it happened and it showed up. Roger Bannister, yes. So it showed up. So that's why in my family, we're always like, oh my God, that's my 4-minute mile. That's my 4-minute mile. So people like the woman that was earning money from YouTube, who was earning $100 a month, she was my 4-minute mile. And then I started doing it. And then the $1,000. Connection is unstable. Yeah, I'm sorry, ladies. I think my connection is like going in and out. So then I'm at that point now where I'm like, Mina, what if you just gave yourself permission? And what if you didn't even need a 4-minute mile person, right? I mean, now that I have the 7-figure day, like I'm not there yet. Like I can feel right now, I'll tell you that I can't hold that energy. When I feel into that, I feel scared. So I need to baby step my way there. But now that I have seen someone do it, I'm like, oh, that just blows my mind. There's so many more levels. So most people are just not asking for enough. We're just not deciding. We're not deciding. Most of us are using the person that is not even running the race as our example versus the 4-minute mile, right? Like, are you looking at the people that are actually in the game? Are you looking at your deadbeat uncle and saying, well, look, my family can't make money? Okay, yes, I think you guys lost me for a second. Yes, sorry, internet being really funky today. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Unique Feminine Energy. Thank you. I'm trying to transfer money to you for my Divine Union and CEO Queen bundle since Sunday, and something keeps going wrong. Even I have the money and want to send with all my love. Can't figure out why. Oh no. Okay, well, email me and we will figure it out. Another thing you can do, maybe we both need to do it, because this could be, when it's something like that, It could be funkiness in your energy or funkiness in mine about receiving. It could be either. So what we can do is, let's do this now in here so that everyone can watch and learn from it. So you go in your heart and imagine sending this money, and then the course container transforming you and multiplying your energy 11 force, your abundance. And me, at the same time, I'm going to imagine this money coming towards me. And as this money comes into my container, I send you abundance vibes, and that you are instantly transformed and up leveled, and your consciousness goes up, and you learn beautiful transformations in the CEO, boss, queen, and in the divine union, and your relationships enhance, and your self-worthiness enhances, and your money grows 1100 folds. And as I receive this money, I'm better able to support my work and my family, and hire more people to support my business so I can have a bigger impact, make bigger and better contributions to charities that I support, and be a bigger force of impact on the planet. And I receive this money with joy and love. Okay. It may be me. Let me tell you, we had our highest single day sales day a few days ago, and I had to sit down for a while. I felt sick, I'll be honest. Like, there was just something where it's like, oh my God, right? Because I come from a very weird, inconsistent money past, right, from my childhood. And so even though now I have different core beliefs, when I expand my container, some of that stuff still shows up. So it may be me. By the way, my husband loved your idea of saving the euros for our trip. So that, I think that's what he's doing. Thank you for sharing that with us. So it may have just been me, but try today and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So it's both ways. Sometimes the person you're trying to pay is like blocking their flow, or sometimes it's something in you. Every time we make a large purchase, and if it's larger than usual, there is a part of us that goes, like, am I worthy of this? Like, is this going to come back to me? Like, is this going to be what I think it is, right? Like, there's always that energy. But I'm telling you, all of my work is divinely infused. I pray over my programs, my services every single day, that may every person that comes into it be transformed. May they grow, may they evolve, may they heal, may they get over their blocks and create all these beautiful abundance and love in their life, right? This, I call that divine outsourcing, right? Yes, I'm providing some services and holding this sacred space for you, but I also have a spiritual team. So it's God for me, right? So are my spirit guides, so are angels. And so I ask them to infuse light and love into my programs. This came at the right time. My attempt at the stock market didn't go so well, and I've been stressing, but I've now decided to be an expert at the stock market and manifest millions. Yes. The thing, Lush, is that, and this may be a limiting belief, but I find that every single successful person that I know that's had success with the stock market had one big negative thing with the stock market, including me, including your one. And I think that humbles you, and it makes you get safer, and like makes you become more knowledgeable. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. This will make you smarter about the stock market, and it will help you make better decisions. Thank you so much, Rhea. Mina, you're amazing. Rhea's sisters in my mind. Yes, I love that. I love that. I do believe this. And I had a friend kind of mock me a little bit about this years ago, and that, but I still believe this. I believe that I have sisters on every part of the planet, that I have sisters in every country. I believe that if I was to go to Europe or Africa or Asia or whatever and put out a thing that, hey, I'm here, I need a ride, or meet me at the mall, that they would be hundreds of sisters that would show up for me. And I had said that to a friend years ago. That's why you don't need to share this kind of stuff with everyone. And she made a really weird comment about it that like shook my energy about it for a while. But then I was like, no, you know what? That's not what I choose to believe. I choose to believe that I have friends and I have sisters all over the planet. That's what I choose to believe. Hi, Lulu. Yes, you do. Greer said, sister, and oh my God, we may be coming to Morocco. That's so funny. So, we have a family wedding, a destination wedding happening in Spain next year. And right now, we're planning where else we were gonna go. And I was like, what if we went to Morocco? Like, that's not that far, right? So, that might be on our list. Sister in Puerto Rico, yes, sister in California, yay! That's what I believe. So, that's what showed up for me. So thank you. You have a friend that, yes, will give you a place to live. Oh my goodness, you guys are the sweetest. Yes, yes, yes. You got tears in my eyes. How can someone do things out of so much goodwill? You pray for others' success. You don't have a single doubt that this may bring you competitor. You are a beautiful person. Oh my goodness. No, there is no such thing as competition, Harpreet. That's such a survival kind of like I get why people believe it. Like I get it. It's in the collective. So I'm not saying this about you, but I'm just saying that I don't believe there's a competition because I'm always competing with the yesterday version of Mina. And I believe that all of us are children of God and like all of us can ask for the same thing. And like there's more energy, more source material available than things. So there's nothing is limited. You know, human beings seem to think that if there's one pen, if Mina has it, then I can't have it. But the truth is, the energy, the source material that created this pen can create a million more pens. You just have to ask. Most people just don't ask because they think they can't have it. They think they're not worthy of it. They think they're not deserving of it. Thank you, big sister. Your digital courses feels like a warm, loving hug and family advice. Yay! I love that. These are the things I pray upon my programs. These are my morning prayer, evening prayer include that these are real people out there that are trusting me on their spiritual journey, right? Like I don't take this lightly. You guys are trusting me with your relationship. You're trusting me with your inner work. You're trusting me with your money. You're trusting me with your energy. So I'm like, okay, I'm just one human being, and yes, I can hold this sacred container. And so I'm like, God, angels, guys, please come in and support me. Everyone that comes into my container, allow them to instantly be in your container and be supported and guided by you. Infuse my work and my work, my programs, my services with divine light and love. Yes, you are loved. Money, blessings in abundance. Yes, 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 yes. Mina, you and Shira are my 4 minute mile inspiration because I've never had any examples of the divine feminine or masculine providers. Oh, yes. Okay. And that's okay. And that's okay because that's why I freaking love the internet. Because the internet gives us this great platform to be sitting in any corner of the planet and be able to find our 4 minute miles, right? Our 4 minute miles. Yes. Mina, did you already discuss the money mistakes? I did, babe. I discussed them in the beginning, and now we're just talking about money and whatever questions that you guys have. I can stay until 11:10ish. It's Alina's lunch at that time, so I'm here for another 10 minutes. And for those of you guys that are interested, I do have the $1,000,000 Babe Money course. You can start. Here's what I want you guys to do. If you're ever confused about where to start, first thing I want you to do is trust yourself. Go to the website and say what's standing out to me, what's calling out to me. I want you to get in the habit of trusting yourself and reading your own energy and trusting your intuition. That's step number one. If you don't get it even after that, you can email my team and they'll guide you. The biggest thing I want you to take away is that always feel good and have good intentions when you spend money. Otherwise, whatever you believe will show up for you. You know, there's been studies done that 90% of anything is the placebo effect, meaning that when you believe something will work for you, it will work for you. So when you believe money will work for you, money will work for you. When you believe inner work will work for you, inner work will work for you. When you believe this medicine that you're taking will work for you, it will work for you. There is also the nocebo effect. And that means that if you believe something will not work for you, it won't work for you. So your beliefs are everything. That's why you have to choose them intentionally. That's inner work. Inner work is choosing the stories that you want to have and you want to believe versus the things that other people chose for you. And I'll go ahead and pin that too. I always get the urge to give money away, and it feels so good to think of giving for no reason. Yes, me too. I love it. I love it. I love, love, love it. What baby steps can you take towards self-worth, confidence, and esteem when dealing with manifesting finances or even deserving a provider? So the number one, like basic level foundational thing I would say would be just start saying like a psychopath every single day with feeling. Affirmations only work when they have feeling without behind them. So with feeling, in fact, I have a little video called How Affirmations Work. I'll try to post it in the community tab after this. Say, I am enough. I am enough. And say it like you're crazy. Say it like millions of times a day. Say it with feeling. Say it with intention. Say it out loud. Say it inside. Say it in paper. Write it out. Type it out. Text it to yourself. Like just, I am enough. Hi, Mina. I have been trying to manifest money lately, and I had a dream of someone giving me lots of money in my dream last night. Ooh, do you think it's connected? Could be, yes. Just say, I receive, thank you. It seems like it's already in the spiritual plane, and it's being put in your bank right now. Yes, love it. This has got to be the best live I have attended, Sneha said. I didn't realize I had so much work I had so much work to do. In fact, I already feel like I'm released one major blocks today. Thank you, Mina. Absolutely. Yes. I love it. You know that saying that when the student is ready, the teacher appears, it also goes the other way. The relationship between the teacher and the student is not a relationship. It's actually just one thing. So it also is that when the teacher is ready, the student appears. So I believe it's this one divine co-creation. So the teacher is the student and the student is the teacher. It's one thing. It's the same thing. I love that. I don't know why you just made me think of that right now. So random. I feel blessed. I love this energy. Yes, I love it. Love that quote. Yes. How can I change my belief that makes me believe that I am not worthy of talking? Or I have very low image for self. So inner work, babe, like that's literally the definition of inner work. We start writing out and working through and releasing those beliefs and then choosing new beliefs. So somewhere in your past that got programmed in, okay? And maybe you needed it at some time. And now we need to release that and reprogram. That's the old you. What do you want the new you to look like? I started saying, yes, it's expensive. And yes, I deserve to have this luxury. Nora, I love that one. Ooh, that's a good one. Yes, it's expensive. And yes, I deserve to have this luxury. I love that one. That's a good one. I may have to borrow that one. Yes. Yes. Love it. Yes, it's high end. I'm high end. So I guess I must have it. I'm receiving lots of yummy cash into my life. Yes, Fiona, it's already there spiritually in the spiritual plane. It's just like I have decided that it gets to be here in my bank account now. Just listening to your voice clicks with abundance thoughts to me. Oh, Reina, I love that. I absolutely love that. Yes, yes to that. You know how inner work has helped me? My boyfriend broke up with me this week and I'm so relaxed about it. Oh, Carla, divine deselection. Okay, so sometimes when we call in something bigger, the old small thing has to leave. So I'm sorry that happened to you, but I'm not sorry because I know that God's just creating space for something bigger and better. So yes, yes, yes. Cheers to new beginnings. Thank you so much, Sensual Burnett. She thought I'm cute. Thank you. What if we want a masculine provider, but boyfriend only makes so much? So is that on your to-do list? that he has to, or to-do list. Your love list. You know I'm a self-aware Barbie, right? Because that's how I used to be. That I'm still talking about to-do list. Okay, so your boyfriend is just one way that money can funnel through you. Are you talking to God and clearing up space and asking for more? That's my first question. Are you just depending on his job, or are you like, his job is just one of infinite ways that money can come to me, that God can send it in? God can send you random checks, random streams of incomes, businesses. God can remove him and put in a different boyfriend. Like, God can do anything God wants. You have to ask so that your free will is not broken, and you have to clear space. I feel the most wealthy when I have a sense of contribution or creativity. Beautiful, beautiful. So that's a story that you have created, and that's a fun story to have because you get to be creative and contribute, and money gets to come to you. I love that. Love it, love it. Yes. Oh, I have to go in like 2 minutes. Thank you so much. So the money course is linked in the description box. I also want to quickly mention that the CEO Boss Queen, which is my business mentorship, it's a 6-week program. It starts next month. I'm selling right now because there's some pre-work courses that are involved. That pre-launch price special goes away in the next few days. So if it's calling out to anyone, if you're like, I have to do it, I need to be there, then I'll put it in for you guys in the chat. It's also in the description box. I love you guys so much. Blessings, abundance, 11 folds, 1100 folds coming to your way. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm going to go have lunch with Alina now, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.